Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And today we're taking a little bit of a look at the executive order, which is going to come out any one of these days, and what the consequences of that shall or will be. Having said that, let's take a little bit of a look at what exactly it means straight up. The US moves to regulate crypto. Biden to issue executive order this week. The United States moves to regulate crypto. Yeah, we know that the SEC hasn't really been doing a proper job, but here's what it states. The US moves to regulate crypto amidst the rising popularity of crypto. Governments worldwide are chalking out strategies to manage new industries. I actually have quite a lot of different articles about that. For example, look at this. Latin America's largest economy to vote on a bill that seeks to regulate crypto. But it's not only that. Most countries out there right now, Brazil, Russia, India, South Africa, almost all countries that are major around the world, the BRICS and whatever, literally, they are trying to go massive on this crypto stuff because they know it's the next big thing. The US is one of the most lacking in that regard. Now, the US administration is also set to regulate the fast evolving sector. Reports said that Joe Biden's administration would issue an executive order to direct all government agencies to study cryptocurrency and central bank digital currency and suggest regulating crypto assets. Then again, here's one little quick announcement I should make as well. Breaking news: the United States Secret Service has launched a new website for Bitcoin and crypto awareness, which again showcases the US is making some moves in the right direction. And I guess that this little mention of the different agencies that should go study might have actually already happened in the background, but maybe officially in the foreground they have not done it yet, and they're going to do that via this order. Now, it'll also ask the agencies to formulate measures to protect consumers, businesses, and investors, besides assessing the environmental impact and financial risks of the crypto industry. I have a couple of different opinions on that. One thing is that there's quite a lot of things they could do to basically help the industry out. However, protecting consumers, we've seen now within the SEC, they've been trying that for a long time. Hasn't really worked out. We know they've really got a skewed mission. It doesn't really work proper. And so we'd rather have them re-evaluate how to protect them rather than saying, go protect them. Go ahead. Go play with dogs or something like that. I'm a little bit confused as to exactly what that's going to mean. Nobody can know until we get the order. However, the whole push, I would say, is a very bullish announcement for crypto. Then again, the consequences, like already I can feel, are quite dire. The narrative of any message that I've read surrounding this order is quite bearish because they're looking more so at the problems, not at the innovation side of things. You guys don't know, I'm in crypto for the long game. I think you guys are all in it for the long game too. So at the end of the day, it does not really matter whatever stance they pick now, because eventually it'll change. But if you read carefully throughout almost any one of these news articles, you'll notice it's all about the dangers. It's all about the look into it for regulation. It's all that. There's not really too much about let's look into it for innovation or the positive things you could do for the environment potentially. With supply chain helps, for example. They're also looking at what's the environmental impact? How can we regulate it further? What's the financial risks? Thinking crypto is such a beautiful technology, or the blockchain technology really. Look at the positive side. But that's not the narrative which I think this is going to have. Which is why I'm saying right now, straight off the bat, I think whenever it comes out, the initial reaction for the people will be confusion, and the narrative behind it, though, will be bearish, meaning people won't take this the right way because it is proper for crypto longer term because regulations need to be set, but the narrative for most of these articles looks kind of not so nice. Now, the order will direct the agencies, including the Department of Treasury, State, Justice, and Homeland Security, to produce reports on the future of money and payment systems. Now, that part is definitely a very nice addition. So some of these agencies will have to look into how exactly Bitcoin or cryptocurrency as a whole might take a look in the future of finance, but also most importantly, of course, CBDC and stablecoin and just digital asset as a whole. How will they fit into our future of money? Again, I think the narrative will be prevention of course, the US dollar destabilizing or something taken over. But at the end of the day, if they're looking into CBDC, I would say it is a push for these digital currencies. So I cannot really be negative on that specific part. Then, first reported by Yahoo Finance, the executive order will ask the Financial Stability Oversight Council, FSOC, to study what impact crypto will have on the financial stability, particularly after the matter was highlighted by the IMF. Again, same narrative. The Attorney General, the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, and Consumer Financial Protection Bureau will analyze the impact on market competition, and the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Commodities Future Trading Commission, and the Federal Reserve, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and the Office of the Controller of the Currency will consider market protection measures. Once more, regulation in a negative way. But again, we need to understand there's a little dark before the bloom, or whatever the way the acronym or whatever it's called in English works. Again, guys, not a native English speaker. Remember that, all right? The accent might take you off guard, but it's not my first language. I speak a different language. As you guys know, Dutch better than English, because that's my main language. All right. So having said that, the Treasury Department will submit a report to the President on protection measures after consulting with various stakeholders, and the executive order is also expected to delve into benefits and shortcomings related to stablecoins, privacy, and distribution ledger technology. The move by the Joe Biden administration is coming at a time when there is increasing anxiety among regulators, regulatory authorities, over crypto's potential to remove intermediaries, such as banks and other financial institutions, which again is just making people a little bit scared. It's not actually really such a big deal. There's so many caveats to any story that they bring, To any bad side, there's a good side for business transactions. And based on the reports from agencies, the US government will likely coordinate with other countries to standardize crypto rules across the globe, which is going to be very difficult because the majority of countries we've read into right now are pretty bullish towards it. Take a look at, for example, South Korea. I posted this stuff on Twitter yesterday, and I recommend you guys to press the like button on this video if you enjoyed the show. I try to give you guys all the best information every single day, but also to make it as easy to understand as possible and no BS, not in the midst of it. So make sure you press the like button. But also check me out on Twitter. I post a lot of cool stuff on there. South Korea, for example, is doing really, I would say, nice works with the Bitcoin ETFs. US still not budging. I mean, why? So how then can there be standard rules if the US, for example, has one critical point that they're flawing in, which is just accepting the basics of the basics because of risks? So if they're so afraid of risks and they're looking in all too risk, blah, 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 I'm thinking they're going to be way too slow for most of the countries, like, for example, the BRICS countries, to actually start accepting it. And again, out of the BRICS, every single one of them is doing fine on crypto, except, of course, for China. Currently, several countries are formulating their own rules to regulate the sector, and I think it will take a very long time before they can come to some universal rules. Maybe the only ones I can think of are if the US, UK, and Europe work together as the triad, but the rest of the countries are most likely going to act independent on this one, at least as far as we are concerned. That's what it looks like. And then again, that's what's going to be coming out this week. We don't know officially yet how good or bad it will be. It says here the office is also supposed to submit a comprehensive report on DLT within 180 days, with a secondary report on its impact on the environment in 445 days, or 545 days. So a lot of the things will come in due time. I believe this is just the order, as far as I know, right? Where Biden will say, hey, do it now, go look into it, go make some stuff, and go do some research. But the actual conclusions might take a lot of time. Then again, as the narrative is mostly to look for risk prevention, you can see it from a positive side because they're doing some nice regulatory work, but I think the market takes it in a negative light because it's mostly to look into CBDCs, but what the negative sides of everything will be rather than all the ways in which it could help. That's, again, my own personal narrative, my own thoughts of what this is going to bring. I've also been trying to look into if something has been announced or when something will come. All I'm noticing, guys, all I'm noticing is all the FUD regarding the Ukraine-Russia situation. And I'm wondering if that's going to stall things to make it last, or will we have to wait for it a little bit longer? But I'm guessing no. I guess it will still come out pretty soon here, guys. So this is going to be really interesting. I'm waiting up for it. I'm waiting like this behind my chair to see exactly what comes out, because these are the most important, crucial, and I guess one of the first moves from the higher-ups on CBDC, on digital assets. And so it is a very big move, a very important one. The question that stays, though, is how would the market perceive it? Again, I'm thinking not so good purely because the majority of this is focused on the negative sides, but there's a couple bullish narratives in there. And you might say, we're in it for the long term anyway. Who cares about all the short-term negatives or negatives they're trying to find? Because they won't find them. Because this crypto stuff is not as dangerous as they make it seem. And this study that they're going to have to do now will showcase that. And so maybe at the end of the day, all we can fetch from this is just nice. They're regulating it, and it's going to be better than before. So we'll have to see. They want the taxes anyway, guys. So the regulations are coming really quickly. Don't worry about it. If you're worried about regulations coming in quickly, no. Yeah, it's going to come. It's definitely going to come. All right, that was it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and see you again in another crypto video later today.